It's got to be real. Be real. Be real.
Damn, man. The boxing year got off to a slow start. We've got a big fight this weekend. Carl Frampton, Scott Quigg. And March was looking like it was going to be a pretty decent month with a super fight in terms of the welterweight division on PBC. Probably the biggest fight to date in the short history of Premier Boxing Champions between Keith Thurman and Shawn Porter for the WBA regular world welterweight title. Unfortunately, the news broke early this morning that Keith Thurman has pulled out of that fight between himself and Shawn Porter due to an injury sustained in a car accident. Now, my initial thoughts on that were of just genuine shock and disappointment that the fight has been postponed, as well as that off-topic Conor McGregor's fight. His opponent Dos Anjos has pulled out due to a broken foot in training. So we have another fight or another combat sport mega event which has been postponed or may even not take place due to an injury. So March has taken a big blow for its value as a month of big fighting events. Back to Keith Thurman and Shawn Porter now. I've seen a lot of people on social media and Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. A lot of people hating on Keith Thurman and saying he's ducking Shawn Porter and he's pulled out. He's not actually injured. My thoughts are that he is probably injured, but he's not injured to the extent where he needs to lay in hospital for 2 months. As a random example, I'm thinking he's injured and he's feeling that it's not worth him risking going to the ring, not sure of himself. As a fighter, I'm sure we can respect that you don't want to enter your office or your home. The ring is their place of their safety net in terms of what they do, and it's a very dangerous sport. They don't want to enter the ring with any doubts in their mind. Am I fully fit? Am I ready? Can I go the rounds? Can I take the punishment? Obviously, what was said, eventually what came out was the fact that Keith Thurman was in this car accident a week ago. Suffered minor whiplash, but he's had training for a few days and realised that, he's not ready, so he had to pull out. I much rather would go through the disappointment prior to the event taking place, knowing that Keith Thurman's injured and waiting to see the fight and letting the anticipation build even more now, than letting the fight take place and then hearing afterwards that Keith Thurman was injured if he lost the fight, or even if he won, but hearing that he was injured and he wasn't 100%. I want both these fighters to be 100% ready when they step into the rings, so that we as boxing fans get the spectacle we deserve, whether it's a top 10 fight of the year or the fight of the year, whether it's a boring anticlimactic fight. I think that's irrelevant at this point. I just wish Keith Thurman a speedy recovery, and I want to see that fight get on as quick as possible. March 12th is only like 2.5 weeks away, so I'm assuming the fight will be postponed for at least another 6 weeks. I would say last week of April or first week of May latest. The only issue being we have Amir Khan versus Canelo in the first week of May, and will Al Heyman want to give away that big fight in that week, or around the same time? And if we are to believe the rumour mill or the big mouth of Floyd Mayweather Jr., he may decide to jump out of retirement and fight Danny Garcia for a 15-0 easy win and become a world champion again on the same weekend. We don't know. I think he's just, chatting it, but the risk is always there with Mayweather. You never know. But in terms of this fight, look, Keith Thurman for me is a favourite. I think he has the boxing skill, and if he sticks to it, he can beat Shawn Porter in a close, tough, competitive fight. I don't think Shawn Porter will be easy work for him, but I think he can outbox him. But we need to see, in terms of Keith Thurman's health, that he's 100%, and same with Shawn Porter. One issue I do have with this fight, though, is the fact that they're both coming off major layoffs now. They were coming off major layoffs regardless, in fact, but now it's even worse. June 24th, I believe, of 2015, it was Adrian Broner versus Shawn Porter in the Battle of Ohio, when they fought at the catch weight of 144 pounds, with Shawn Porter beating him by a pretty wide decision. Keith Thurman then fought on the inaugural edition of PBC on ESPN against Luis Collazo, former world champion, a decent fighter, obviously nearing the end of his fighting career, I suppose. Obviously, we saw in that fight that Keith Thurman took a body shot in the 5th round and he was running from Collazo, but I think people made a big deal out of that just because we finally saw a bit of vulnerability in Keith Thurman in terms of the fact that he could have probably gone down, but he managed to stay on his feet, and he used his movement and his brain to stay in that fight, and he finished that strong. And Collazo had to sit out the fight because he felt like he was caught and hurt badly. That's fine, that's all done and dusted, but that's a long layoff. We're looking at respectively 10 and 9 months between them out the ring now. they need to stay fresh. They're young. This is their prime. They need to be fighting at least 2, 3, 4 times. Well, 4 times is a bit too much at this level. 3 times a year at least. You know, and both will. Lucky, if they're lucky, they'll fight 2 times this year. In terms of the climate that we're in now in boxing, both are top 5 welterweights. By the Ring magazine, I believe Keith Thurman is number 5 and Shawn Porter is number 6. So sorry, Shawn Porter isn't in the top 5. But look, this is a great fight. 2 fighters who both respect each other and know each other very well. Kenny Porter has said on many occasions how they are friends and they get along, but this is business, and this is where Keith Thurman put something on Twitter saying this is where friends become enemies in the ring. But you know, there's respect there. There's a lot of history between them. They've sparred, and apparently in sparring, Shawn Porter really put it on Keith Thurman and hurt him. But we have no video evidence, I suppose. But this fight, I'm ready for it whenever it is, you know, remade, and once it's back on, I think collectively the boxing world will have a sigh of relief. But this is the thing with boxing and with any combat sport, we cannot let the excitement hit fever pitch until they are both in the ring and that bell rings. Anything can happen in these sort of sports and in any sport. So I hope that this fight is made very, very quickly, and I hope that it is the fight that we all think it will be. So Keith Thurman once again is out with an injury, and hopefully we will get some more news on that very soon, and I will obviously report it for you guys if and when that does happen. So please do subscribe to our channel Be Real TV, follow us on Twitter at Be Real TV, and my personal Twitter at SherryAbbasi93. Thank you very much.
To be real.